So another pretty crappy winter's day. Little bit of fog around still. That'll burn off. Got some weather clouds coming. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, but anyway, sort of no breeze, if anything. And you can see there's just a slight tinge of a breeze according to the weather blanket. So what we've got is our flying eagle, our dancing eagle, and I've looked at a couple of videos on YouTube, and so why did I get this? The whole reason to get this is because I get quite a few birds here in the winter time wanting to fly around with the quads and the planes, and I thought, why not get something that resembles them? Maybe we can get, I wouldn't say closer, but less intimidating to them. They do like to chase the planes and the quads, so why not? If you can't beat them, join them. So bought one of these, the dancing wing. Had a look at quite a few videos on YouTube of them, and they all seem to have problems. So I think what I've done, I've engineered out all of those. So what we've done, you actually cut this little piece of quad mold to the length where your hinge is, and then you glue it on. You make sure it's pretty straight. Mine's a little bit offset. These pieces actually go inside. They don't tell you that, but they go inside, and you line up your edges here out the back. I use the standard horns that came with it, but I used my own push rods because I just didn't like the ones that were with it. I crossed my servo lines over purely because it seemed to make sense. If they come out straight here, they seem to have a lot of side pressure on here, and they probably won't work as well. I've already maiden this, and I had a servo fail yesterday. I had some Turnigy servos of all things, and it was a bit jittery, and it was doing that since sort of day one, but I persevered, and yesterday we had a circular landing, and so I put some Tau Pros, some bangled ones in there, so they must be good. So we're all in there. We're running the 45 amp ESC off the Voltager because it didn't quite work at high rev, so we're just going to do some low rev stuff. I've actually made this tearable so you can get in there and change your motor wires over, because this thing does seem to eat the props. Not literally, but you got to run a fairly big prop on it, and so I've got a 7-inch prop there, and when you land you tend to break them, and if you're like me, you just bring a whole lot of props out to the field. They're both clockwise and counterclockwise, so it doesn't really matter, but if you need to swap them over, I've just made that tearable. So one of the other things that was an issue to me was the angle that this laid over. This seemed to be pretty flat. Now if you have a look at the angle there, right, that would come out to here, and that one came out to there, so it was almost flat. And so I've picked that up in the standard V-shape configuration. I've put a little carbon fibre rod through there, punched a hole, glued a washer in there and a washer there, and just punched it through and glued it from both sides. These sticks are pretty tight, so I used some different sticks. That one in there is now glued because the accident we had yesterday, we actually broke that piece there. It's only flimsy. This is real flimsy, this thing. So we're running the V8 4R receiver in there, only a little 3-channel thing, no telemetry or anything, and we're running a Turnigy 1450 kV motor on there, just a tiny little tacker. I've got a heap of those from the start of the quad days. Battery goes up, right up under the nose, and I've put some fiberglass tape under here just to support it. I should actually have it here, but you know, I figure if it comes in for a landing that way, comes in that way, I'm doing the right thing. It'll just skid. If it comes in that way, give it a bit of support. One of the things that was an issue is the length from the firewall to the nose tip here. So I don't know what size motor they think you should be using on that, but if you have a look in there, one of the improvements that they've made through probably watching everyone's videos is that in the old days, this firewall, you just had to glue it to this. What they've done is they've notched out the sides and they've notched the firewall, and that fits together, so it's a set length. And it's a set length because the hole's in here. Okay, so one of the things then is the length from the firewall to here. So what I've done is I've put some 25mm standoffs. I've put my motor on across, and then I've bolted that to the standoffs and the standoffs to the firewall, so that just gives you out the front there. So now for the wing. The wing's pretty easy to put together. You just glue this. You get 3 of these little sparry things. I actually did this. I cut mine in and jammed it in, and the whole idea of that is so you can, when your elastic bands come over, it's not fighting on the foam. So you just glue that piece together and that piece together. There's no spar inside, so there's a spar in here. You just fit that in, and then I just ran a glue line over the front of that. That one there and that one there is just glued on for support, and again just some hot glue. These ones here, these parts here were tricky. These were fairly long, and although they sit on the angle and they say line up the colours there, it doesn't quite work. So what I did is I just got it to the best that I could. I got that on the front there, I got that kind of on the back there. You can see that's a bit longer. I did the same with that side there, and I just measured sort of roughly from there to there on both of them, and then I pinned it. There's still a pin in there. I put 2 pins in, and then when I did that, I just opened that up, put some glue in there, shut it, and then just trimmed off the access. So that's the wing. That's really kind of about it. It does do aerobatics. I am trying it on a little 3-cell. I tried it on a 2-cell yesterday because I thought it had such a big prop and high kV motor, it would just want to go slow, because all the reports I've seen of this is it's a fairly slow flying craft. So the faster you try to go, it just doesn't work. So I thought, okay, let's just put on a 2-cell. Didn't work, didn't have enough power, and landed out there and broke it anyway. One of the things I found on YouTube was the CG. Now the CG on this they recommend is 70mm. Now that's 35mm, so that's 70mm is that carbon spar there. So they reckon that is the CG. Now when you think about it, roughly a third of the wing, that sort of makes sense. But when you think about it, that's sort of nearly half the wing there. So anyway, 35 with it up on the nose, with the battery up on the nose, 35mm, and it flies really nice. So let's take him for a flight and we'll see how we go. So I've put the battery right up the front, and I've put this little block in there just to sort of stop it from moving around. It does come with these sort of fairly big elastic bands. They give you 4. I got 2 in the spares compartment that we carry because I only use 2. So stick that over there like so, lay that back, put the wing on like so, grab one, pull it over and put it in place, grab the other, pull it over in place, and there we have the Flying Eagle. Now that is probably, if anything, a little bit tail heavy on that 35mm. Actually, it's not too bad. That's just in the breeze there. So it's actually not too bad. So we'll take him up and we'll see how we go. Engine on. We're on low rates. We've got the breeze going that way. So let's take him out and we'll see how we go. I've made a terrible mistake. I've made that terrible. The V8 R4 V8. We'll start again. We're running the, and You know, there was a lot of people when they landed that would just tear, and you would get one flight per sort of, I guess, crash, one repair. Well, anyway, there's a spar here that you glue in. I just fitted it in and then ran a glue line down it, so it's actually in behind it rather than glue it in. So it's not, it's actually